let's just cut to the chase here. Every state law, like I've talked about, every state law says your child is required to go to school every day between the ages of 5 and 18, in this state's 19, unless there's a medical emergency or medical absence or an approved absence by the school district. And reasons for kids not going to school, like we all know, it could be medical issues, they're sick, whatever, they're being bullied. But what if your child comes to you and says, Mom, I don't want to go to school? It says, it's time to go to school, and they say, well, I don't want to go to school. What do? You simply say, okay, fine, stay in bed. Or you just nip it in the bud and say you have to go to school. I mean, why didn't you show up for school yesterday? It's like, well, because I didn't want to go. You're required to go to school every day. It's that simple. I mean, it's because of anxiety, like suspicious sick days. Seriously. And school refusal is becoming a bigger problem. Numerous days, weeks, even months. Just talk to your child. So what you need to start doing is saying to yourself, hey, I tell you, your child's job is to get up in the morning, get dressed, go to school, sit there, do the work, and turn it in. Otherwise, the child is truant and you're negligent. We've been talking about truancy throughout the past 8 years. 7 years of this broadcast, sorry. It seems there's not one person out there that gets the message, because all these kids that don't want to go to school and the parents just abide by it. They defend their child saying, like, well, he's there, he's not smoking dope or whatever. The best place for kids is in school all day, every day. How important? Let me ask you, that brings us to another question. How important is a high school diploma? While a high school diploma or even better, a college degree, you're more likely to land a job that provides a higher salary in addition to your health insurance and retirement benefits. A high school diploma can help you land a job that can call a career to adulthood. Let's look at these 6 reasons for getting a high school diploma. Career opportunities, furthering your education, higher salary, staying employed. Statistics show that individuals who complete a high school in 4 years are less likely to be unemployed. According to a 2006 study, people who never completed high school had a 16.3% unemployment rate 8 years later. During those same 8 years, the unemployment rate among those who earned their diplomas within 4 years was dramatically lowered at 4.7%. Taking longer than 4 years to earn your diploma can have even more negative effect. Individuals who spent more than 6 years pursuing a high school diploma experience a massive 18.1% unemployment rate. More opportunities and additional incentives. And here's more reasons and 3 reasons not to. You can earn more money, you can get career opportunities, you can unlock job opportunities that weren't available to you before. You can be more competitive with a new job. You can start preparing for college or a career in high school. Increase your self-esteem and confidence, and develop lifelong skills. But they have reasons not to get your high school diploma, like a GED may be faster. It counts as a equivalent to high school completion. There's still quite a few differences between high school diploma and GED. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Traditional high school might not be fitting your schedule. You don't need a diploma to be proud of yourself. I mean, there's kids out there that work and are in school. I work part-time for one reason, to teach kids. There's a reason why I work part-time. I work part-time to teach kids that, because a lot of kids go to school and then they go to work afterwards. And then they come home late, they just sit there and play their video games and they don't get rest. Then the next day they go to class and they're sleeping in class. The teacher asks, what's going on? Why are you sleeping in my class? The kids Little Jimmy says, well, it's because I've been working late. I told my boss, no, and I told him, I no, you can't, still in school. My boss said, well, we don't work here extra hours, I'm gonna write you up. Should have happened. That's what my boss said. Okay, where you work at? And he's saying, well, I work at this place, and then they would get the parents on the phone going, "Oh, are you worried your son's getting a job?" Yes, because we're struggling right now with our bills and whatever, and I have my son here to help out. It's like this. All these kids out there working at Whataburger, Burger King, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, H-E-B, Pizza Hut, Subway, Little Caesars, Snoopy's, Long John Silver's, you name it. These kids are working because they're trying to help mom or dad pay the bills. It's case after case after case of evictions and debt claims. And it's getting bad. The parents are struggling a lot. I mean, during the pandemic, years ago, truancy was on the rise. Now, what is the difference between a GED and a high school diploma? Coming up, we are going to tell you the whole difference. Stay with us. So what's the difference between getting a GED and a high school diploma? A diploma is an official marking of a completion and passing of all courses required for high school graduation. On the other hand, a GED significance that you have an equivalent to graduate without actually having to graduate high school. I mean, which is right for you. I mean, a diploma is an official mark. While both the GED and high school diplomas show that you have a high school level of knowledge, there are definitely differences between them. A diploma is an official marking of completing and passing all courses required for high school graduation. On the other hand, a GED signifies that you have an equivalent level of knowledge compared to a high school graduate, without actually having graduated high school. But the pros again is it can help a learner's problem solving, time management. You have learned a full high school curriculum. You can receive academic support from your instructors. And that just can help you get a feel for a career path. On average, a high school diploma holders make more than GED recipients. While earning a GED can definitely open more doors for hiring and earning potential than someone who has not finished high school. A high school diploma can earn even more. High school graduates earn $11,000 more per year, on average, than someone who has not completed high school versus GED recipients who could only earn $9,000. I mean, the age limit, traditional high school is 21. Online high school, no age limit. GED is no age limit. The time limit's like 4 years for traditional high and online school. For GED, it's self-placed. Career guidance, yes, and no. For GED and for online high school. Academic support, 2 yeses and a no. Same thing as the last one. Up here, same thing as those last two. Teaches full high school curriculum, yes, and no. And 2 no's for this single time test to determine everything. No, and a yes for GED. Accepting employment management tracks, 3 yeses, and for college exemptions, that's all yes. So, like I've been saying, I mean, paying education versus free education. I mean, your child says, I want to drop out of school because it's just too much for me. I'm going to do online school. I want to do homeschool. Well, homeschool, you got to hire a tutor, you got to hire a teacher. Private school, you have to pay for it. Online school, you have to pay for it. Like Education Connection, you have to pay for it. I mean, you may be selling your parents will get it, they'll take out a loan, and we'll do high school, we'll do online education. Cannot be doing that crap. I mean, if it's your choice, it's your choice. The parents want what's best for their child, a decent education. I mean, Chris wanted to go back to his old school, but his mother was like, nope. Put him in Brooklyn Beach. I mean, the best education ever is to go find a good school. And like we talked about in Stupid in America, it's as simple as this. You go where you're zoned. Now, Part of my family lives outside the bluff. They're in the CCISD area. They're in the CCISD area. So if you live in any of the CCISD areas, you go where you're zoned in CCISD. So if you live on Weber, you go to the CCISD area where you're zoned. You go to the CCISD area where you're zoned. As well as, if you live in the Flower Bluff area, you go to the Flower Bluff area. Gregory Portland, it's the same thing. Tulsa Midway, it's the same thing. You go where you're zoned. You don't go to Flower Bluff and expect to go to CCISD. Could probably get confusion unless you're telling CCISD, hey, I live outside the district and this and this. They may sit there and tell you, well, we can't have that happen. But we're getting off topic here. Your child says you don't want to drop out because of all this. As a parent, you need to step your ground and tell them no. I mean, they may be going to school for like 6.5 to 7 hours, but it's the thing though. It's a teacher. You're going to be at work all day. Like I said, a high school diploma is very important. When you drop out of school, if you don't graduate, you'll be at higher odds of living in poverty now. And higher odds of you getting full-time jobs. And if you don't participate in school, you're participating in negative behaviors, like we talked about. You're breaking into houses, breaking into cars, doing drugs, things of that nature. Those are crimes that rise up to juvenile delinquency. That's crime. Most 49 states have strict truancy laws, like Iowa, California. Their point is just throw them in jail and teach them a lesson. Fill a book and then throw them in jail. It'll help teach them. But I think we may have talked about people who have dropped out of school. Back in January of 2022, I did an issue about dropping out of school for regular one, and I also did one for YouTube. But there are YouTubers out there who have dropped out of school because they want to do some YouTube. Coming up, the reasons why you shouldn't drop out of school, and YouTubers who have dropped out of school because they want to do YouTube full time, like Luna, Dan D, and Morgs. Stay with us. Last season, we did an issue about dropping out of school. It's to where kids have had enough of school, they just simply drop out and go do whatever they want. I mean, maybe ask, okay, I want to drop out of school at like a certain age. I mean, until you're 16 and all. I mean, if you don't like doing what your parents tell you to do, that's a good reason to stay in school. I mean, do you remember the episode of Young Sheldon where Georgie worked full time and still can't go to school? Well, he was like, well, I'm going to drop out of school. And then his dad got angry saying, well, listen this. High school diploma, like I said before, a high school diploma is very important. If you don't get your high school diploma, you don't get a good job, or you don't get a good job in the future without that diploma. So, with that in mind, the question is, why do kids drop out of school? What is the right age? Well, 16 and 17 is the right age. So why did these kids drop out of school? There are some good reasons. Life events. Students drop out because something happens outside of school. They become pregnant, get arrested after work, support members of the family. That's a good reason. Fade outs, push outs, and failing to succeed. Let's go to the second one for fade outs. Students are generally been promoted on time from grade to grade, or may even have above grade level skills. At some point become frustrated or bored and stop seeing reason for coming to school. Once they reach the legal dropout age, they leave, convinced they can find their way out of high school diploma or that GED will serve them just as well. Going to push-outs. Students who are perceived to be difficult, dangerously determined to the success of school and are suddenly or not so suddenly encouraged to withdraw from the school, transfer to another school, or simply drop to the rolls if they fail too many courses or miss too many days of school and are past, or in some cases not even past, the legal dropout age. If you're under 16, it may not happen. That's the legal age to drop out. But we'll talk about it in just a minute. Failing to succeed. Students who fail to succeed in school and attend schools that fail to provide them with the environments and supports they need to succeed. For some, initial failure is the result of poor academic preparation. For others, it is rooted to the unmet social and emotional needs. Few students drop out after their initial experience of failure. In fact, in the most preceding years, only dropping out of school after they fall so far behind the success seems to impossible, or they worn down by repeating failure. In the meantime, they are literally waving their hands saying help through poor attendance, acting out, and or of course failure. Now the common reasons. Academic difficulties. I mean, look at this. Look at the dropout rates from 16 to 24 years old. This blue bar represents 2010, while this one over here represents 2020, before and or during the pandemic. So, in 2010, the total was 7, while in 2020, it got lowered down to 5. This one right here, it got pushed up to 5, but it almost got to. But this is for all whites by race and ethnicity. This is nothing to do with race. I want you to keep that in mind. The white people almost got like 5% in 2010 during the 2010 years, but it dropped down in 2020. For blacks, highest ever was like almost 8. While it went up to 4 in 2020. For Hispanic, it went up to 15, and while in 2020 it dropped down to 5. Asian people, 4, and 2020 it dropped down. The common reasons is just basically, first, bad influences like the friends, academic difficulty, family and socioeconomic needs. Like we talked about for this. Poor health, retention, disengagement, and transition. Now the biggest question is for parents, let me ask yourself, well, how do I prevent my child from dropping out of school? First, what you need to do is get involved. And here's a quick fact for you. Better communication between parents and schools can help identify students at risk of dropping out, providing support and reduce absenteeism. Have realistic expectations. Encourage and motivate your child to perform well in school. However, do not have an unrealistic expectation for your child. It may cause undue stress to your child, lead to disastrous academic performance, poor school attendance, and truancy. You can land your ass in truancy court. And these asked questions can be like, are there any warning signs that may drop out of school? Well, yes, there is. What are the consequences of dropping out of school in society? School jobs may not have the potential to secure well-paying jobs and may experience unemployment. How can schools better support students ensuring they drop out? Providing mutual attention and emotional support. They have counselors there. What are some alternative education options for a child who drop out of school? Homeschooling, online learning programs, those cost money. Adult education programs, and alternative schooling with a different curriculum. And this is better. The strategies is this. Listen to their issues and tell them to communicate. Talk to them about their future. and without proper without proper education by setting notable examples. Don't pressure them to too much excel. Allow them to take breaks when stressed. Contact the school to learn about their academic and social progress. Encourage them in school's extracurricular activities to support their mental and physical health. Support their achievements and try to provide the necessary resources for their education. Here's a clip from YouTube.
It's coming up a lot, and parents are wondering what to do when your teen wants to drop out of school. I've got 5 specific strategies for you, but before we get to that, I have to share this with you. One of our subscribers sent me this actual letter that they got from their teenager. Check it out. Dear Mom and Dad, you know what? Anytime a letter starts with that, it's like, okay, what's happening, right? Check this out. For this year, I have not done my schoolwork like I was supposed to. This is because I feel better. First of all, good thinking, by the way. If you're the one who wrote this letter and you're seeing it right now on YouTube, nice strategy. Send them a letter instead of having a full-on confrontation. Actually, pretty good thinking. And I like some of the things that I'm seeing here. Let's get to the strategies. Okay, so if you're the parent that gets this letter, or one like it, or your teenager is telling you, hey, I want to drop out of school, it's no use anyway, yada, yada, yada. I have to share with you a concept that one of my friends wrote about. This is Woody Woodward. He wrote a book called Millionaire Dropouts. And I share this sometimes with kids because when they come to my office and this issue comes up, I usually pull Woody's book off of the shelf and I say, dropping out of school? Okay, totally legitimate option. And then I go through some of the people who are highlighted in here, like Harry Houdini and Rosa Parks and Andrew Lloyd Webber and Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's some pretty famous people in here who actually dropped out of school. So can your child be successful if they drop out of school? Well, yeah, maybe. There's a lot of people who have. Keep that in mind as we go through these strategies. Strategy number 1, don't panic. Panicking is the worst thing that you could possibly do. It puts your own body into fight or flight mode. Fight or flight mode. What's going to help this situation more? If you fight your teenager or if you run away? Or you don't like your options. Right, let's not panic. I've got other videos here on the channel that help you to manage your own panic, anxiety, and anger. You need to be in charge of your own emotional mechanism here because that's going to be essential to the other strategies. Strategy number 2, listen to understand. Look, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Let's use them in that proportion. And this is the time to listen. There's a lot of strategic reasons why you want to listen first. Psychologically, it changes the dynamic in a way that empowers you in this conversation. It's not always going to feel like that. Because when your kid drops something like this on you, when the bomb goes off and it's like, oh, my kid wants to drop out of school. That's why I told you not to panic, because you need to keep a clear enough mind that you can simply shift into this next strategy, which is to listen to understand. Just turn on your ears and listen. This also invites them to do the thinking. And really, the solutions to this problem are going to be found in the thinking of your teen. You've already got a lot of solutions. They need to come up with the right ones because they're actually right. What this kid said in the letter, hey, I'm in charge of my life. Yeah, they kind of are. All right, here's the 3rd strategy. Now, this has to happen after you've done number 2. You have to listen to understand. And at the end of that, you reflect back to them your understanding of what they're saying. Not with any parental spin on it. Because you're going to be tempted to say, okay, so you just want to... No. Give it to them in the way that they'll recognize it as what they actually shared with you. Okay, so you're seeing that there's not a lot of utility to going to school right now. It's probably not going to be that useful to you anyway, and you're willing to do a lot of work to make up for that. Is that what you're saying? All right, be sincere about it. Give it back to them. And then you go to the third strategy, which is you ask permission to share your opinion. Here's the thing. Your kids already know your opinion. Chances are you've shared it with them already. Don't cram it down their throat. Ask permission after you've satisfied them that you listened to their position and that you understand it. Then you can say, well, I've got a few ideas about that. If you'd like to hear them, I'd be happy to share. Okay, no, this is strategic as well. When I use this phrase with teenagers, sometimes the response is, well, you're going to tell me anyway. Oh, no, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to insert my opinion here where it's not wanted. If you want to hear it, I'm happy to share. And it drives them nuts. They have to hear it. They're like, okay, fine, tell me. Even though they kind of already know your opinion. But you ask permission. That's important. Now we're at a point where you've taken some time to listen. Remember, you're controlling your emotional response so you don't panic. You've taken time to listen. You've asked permission to share your opinion. And if they don't give you permission, you don't share it. Can you do that? Then we move into the next phase. You still have opinions about this, and you still have some responsibility for them as a parent. So here's how I'm wording this particular strategy. Adjust the compensation as appropriate. All right, the reason I said it that way is because you're already providing them with far more than they can afford. Really, if they were on their own, could they live in the kind of luxury that you're providing to them? No. In another video, I shared that there are 5 freebies, okay? You don't get to mess with the freebies. They get to have, for free, from you, love, air, water, food, and shelter. Those are the 5 freebies. Everything else is extra compensation and can be used to persuade them to choose something that you feel would be in their best interest. Now, you might think, hey, I think it's its last strategy for the end, and it is simply to remember your job. As a parent, you're going to feel really distracted when you get the letter that I read to you. That your job is to make sure that they don't drop out. Make sure that they complete their schooling. Make sure that they don't fail. Make sure that they make sure that they make sure that they. This is where we get trapped as parents, and it's always a trap because you really stink at that job anyway. Can you make sure that they? No. It frustrates you and makes them mad. What's your job as a parent? To love them. No matter what. And even if. Frankly, this is just one of the even ifs. Even if they drop out of school or threaten to. Yeah, you remember your job. They're going to figure out through their own experiences what's best for them. And you only have a few years of influence left anyway if they're a teenager. Remember your job. To love them no matter what, and even if. You'll love them even if they drop out of school. That's going to help your mental health as well. Here's a little insider tip. I've mentioned Live on Purpose Central. This is a place where you can get the resources you need as a parent, and I'm going to give you a shortcut to get it for $1. For a week, you can try this for $1. When you go to liveonpurposecentral.com, go.
I think he basically says, address some common sense. I had to agree with him. Your job as a parent is to love them and care for them no matter what. Even if they drop out of school, you still have to love them no matter what. You don't just simply say, no, I'm not going to let my child drop out of school. I want him to succeed in life. That's not an excuse. I mean, if it's your decision, then it's your decision. Once your child makes a decision to drop out of school, you gotta be willing to sit there and say I'm gonna love you for what I'm gonna love your support about this, and I want to be behind you every step of the way. That's what can happen. And I recommend that you take this, write everything down, so that when your child drops out of school, you show them this video, and you might ask yourself, what? And next time you ask yourself, what do I do? You go to the video, and it will tell you. Next, YouTubers who are dropped out of school because they wanted to YouTube full time, including Luna, Dan D, and Morgs. Stay with us. Nowadays, when we hear about celebrities, we get to know them. We get to know celebrities, and they say to us, well, they dropped out of school at this age and they become millionaires. And so, do you remember the episode of 2.5 Men in season 9 where Walton said he dropped out of school and he made millions? Jake wanted to do the same thing. But YouTubers, on the other hand, these people have YouTube channels and they've either dropped out of school or dropped out of college because of what happened. Here are the top 15 YouTubers who have dropped out of school or high school or college. Andrea Rusin. She had almost 3 million subscribers on YouTube and is known for popularity in social media, vlogging and YouTube and acting. She attended a Catholic high school in India in her teenage years. Then she started to enroll in an online course after moving to California to pursue her dream. But 6 months in, she decided to drop out. She had not spoken about her experience. Jake Paul. 13 million subscribers. Jake decided to drop out of high school when he's only 17. Casey Neistat. At 17, he dropped out of school. That's why he told CNN. Kristen Leanne, the famous beauty, a successful dropout. The reason she dropped out is due to her getting constantly being bullied in school. Bullies targeted her because she was different than other students. Now she has a YouTube channel with over 500 subscribers. FaZe Rug. Dropped out of school. He got 7 million subscribers. And he's got more. Gabriel Kant. He dropped out of college because he wanted to devote all his attention to his YouTube career. Morgs. Now, he dropped out of school and he has got over 2.6 million subscribers. Philip DeFranco. He became a YouTuber, but he decided to drop out because continuing his YouTube show. Road to Shaw. W2S. He dropped out of school at the age of 17 and decided to make his YouTube career full-time rather than part-time. 11.8 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. Nadeshot. Dropped out of school, dropped out of college. Moved back to his parents to start preparing for tournaments. Tara Michelle. She dropped out of school. Discovered was not what she wanted. She dropped out. She became different in school in California visual media program. Dropped out of college and started doing YouTube. Zorella. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Beauty YouTuber who chose not to go to college. She attempted to go to college. She couldn't not get herself to go. So she dropped out and did an apprenticeship and other jobs. Nathan Zed dropped out of college after realizing it was not right for him. Sarah Tyler. 19 years old, dropped out of college because of YouTube. And finally, Tori Sterling. She dropped out of school and also did YouTube. Those are all the 15 YouTubers that dropped out of school. I don't want to raise the common sense alarm on these YouTubers, but I believe they deserve some common sense. Now, let me say this. If you want to drop out of school, just knock yourself out. But education is very important. I mean, yes, you can't. YouTube is a job, and you can just make money off it. But you got like $600 per million views, whatever. But education is very important. I mean, you can use that diploma just to go get a part-time job while you do YouTube full-time. That way you can pay your bills. So. I mean, you don't need a degree to be a YouTuber. However, if you want to cover a complex topic of your channel, you might consider getting a bachelor's degree in a major. the reasons why YouTubers drop out of school is basically because pursuing a passion, school's not important, burnout, and time and resources. Because they're making money. And all these kids now are in school and they're creating YouTube channels. I mean, I came across Ron CJ Gonzalez years ago. I talked about him when we did season 1, where he filmed his prom reunion. He posted signs all over the walls. I've seen it happen, and I kept saying to myself, he is going to get in trouble because he's not supposed to be doing that. And also, he's filming on school property. He's filming on school property and in the classroom. And no one else gives a crap. Nobody else cares. And if you post something on YouTube that's on the school, you can get in trouble. Like we talked about. Dom Tracy has been hated. Every time Dom Tracy goes to school, and all the teachers and staff hate him because of his YouTube channel. There is one YouTuber by the name of Luna. He tells his school time stories about when he was expelled, all this, and the teachers hate his YouTube channel. When we come back, we're gonna have one of the Luna stories where his teachers hate his YouTube channel, and he got kicked out of school because of this. We'll be right back. Stay with us. On the very first season, I talked about a YouTuber in Fire Bluff named CJ Gonzalez who filmed videos for his YouTube channel in Fire Bluff. Now, he filmed a video on prom, and then the next day, he decided to make some posters and hit him all on the hallways without consent. He got detention, and basically, it's the moral of this. He will never do it again. But YouTubers, and when YouTubers go to school, the teachers hate them because he's making money off a nonprofit school. Luna is a perfect example here. Here is one of his stories about a teacher who wants him to leave the channel. His channel. Take a look.
Hey, what's here, guys? So it's been a weird day, okay? I uploaded my video last night. It's kind of giving an update on where I've been. And no joke, today I wake up to something that I'm just like, I have to make a video about this. Like, I have to make a fucking video about this. Now, if you've watched me for a long time, you probably know that a lot of people from my family have slowly discovered my channel. And when people from your family watch videos you make on YouTube, it's just kind of cringy and weird to you. Maybe not all of you are like that. I'm sure a lot of people make content that's like family friendly and they think it's fun to show their family. But like when you find out that your grandma knows about your channel and probably watched a good 20 of your videos, it's pretty fucking weird, okay? Like, it's weird. Like, I feel like my grandma used to look at me as her like sweet grandson. Now I'm just like some harmful fucking delinquent in her eyes. I don't know. She told me that she likes my videos and some of them she found funny. But at the same time, it's like she must look at me a little bit different now, and it's kind of weird. Considering some of the stuff on my channel is not too PG or, grandma friendly. I don't really know. I guess if you're a grandma and you watch my videos, props to you. I don't think there's that many of you, though. Okay, I'm changing the subject. Anyway, I woke up today to a random-ass missed call from a number I've never seen before. I didn't have it, as a contact on my phone. It was a random number. Same area code, though, so I knew it was, either a friend or someone around the area, obviously. So I wake up. I checked the time because immediately when I woke up, it was late at night because I have a fucking horrible sleep schedule. I woke up and it was already half dark out, so I didn't know if it was 5 a.m. or if it was 7 p.m. So I'm like, what the fuck, where am I? What's going on? That kind of waking up. So I woke up and checked my phone and I saw that it was 6 and I saw that I had missed calls and I was like, oh, great, Austin, you ruined your fucking day again. But anyway, I quickly called back this number that I had this missed call from because I didn't want them thinking I was ignoring them, whoever they were. And it was, a number from around the area, so I figured I knew them, right? So I call them, and immediately, this person picks up, and she goes, who's this? And I was like, it's Austin? And she was like, oh, Austin, yeah, I called you earlier. And she sounded kind of older, and I was like, yeah, who's this? And she says her name, and it's my fucking teacher from back in 7th to 8th grade, those 2 years. I had this teacher both those years, and she wasn't like a dedicated like class. She was someone you could sign up for and you could go during a free period of every day and do like homework there, and she'd help you, and she kind of just knew every subject. It was just kind of like an extra help teacher. And she was cool as fuck. I remember those 2 years. She was like my favorite class to be in because she used to like, you know, help you with your homework because I was fucking stupid and I never used to do it at home, so she'd help me do my homework and we'd watch movies and stuff. It was just a dope class to be in. So immediately I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And she's like, I was just calling to let you know, like, congratulations on everything. And at first I was super confused. I was like, what? Like, I haven't seen her since like 8th grade. I wonder why she's saying that. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, just like your videos and your online stuff that's been going on for you. I've heard a lot about you. And half of me was flattered, and the other half of me was like basically cringing because I had no idea she knew about my channel. Like, I should be used to that feeling of just being embarrassed of adults and like people that I grew up with knowing about my channel. Because I've actually had another teacher that I had an experience with that I've talked about on this channel. But like having them call you and just like telling you that, it's not a feeling you can really get used to. But I said thank you. I was like, oh, thanks. Like, how do you know about that? And she's like, oh, everyone here knows. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. In the back of my head, I'm like, it's not fucking awesome at all. That's just kind of weird feeling. And she's like, so your videos and stuff, I watched a few, and you got some pretty R-rated stuff on there. And I was like, yep. And the whole time, my face, it was just making the worst expression. She's like, you ever thought about like maybe like dumbing it down a bit, making it, you know, a little bit more like PG? And I was like, I kind of based my entire channel and video style around not being PG and just kind of sharing experiences and taking the story time thing and kind of turning it into something teenagers and adults can like too. And she was like, yeah, I know, like you have a really unique thing, but like don't you think it's a little too much? Like, aren't you afraid of like people contacting you? And I know Joke wanted to just be like, well, what the fuck do you think this is? Because she was literally contacting me saying this. But I was like, it's happened. Yeah, people have contacted me, so it's kind of already done with. But I never release names or people's personal info in my videos. I've never done that. And she's like, oh, okay, good to hear. I only watched a couple. I didn't want to watch too many. But you ever think you're going to shut it down? Like, what if you want to get a job and that, like, prevents you from getting one? And I really want to be like, is this lady, this teacher, really trying to tell me that I should close my channel for the sake of getting a normal job? And I was like, no, not really. I mean, it's just videos. Like, if that prevents me from getting a job, I don't want to work there in the first place. Personally, I don't want to take orders from anyone or work for anyone. That's just not my thing. So, yeah, screw that. And she goes, yeah, amen to that, Austin. I'm really glad you found something unique that you're doing. Like, congrats again. And I just didn't know what to think. I was like, she's literally going from, yeah, congrats, like, you're killing it, congrats, to close your fucking channel, get a real job. Like, what? Anyway, we finally ended up hanging up. It was so awkward to, like, get off the phone with her, because she was like, yeah, congrats, you know, you definitely found something unique. I was just like, yeah, thanks. Alright, well, bye now. I just fucking hung up. It was so weird. So I hung up the phone, got up, talked to my mom about it. I was like, yeah, so, remember this? And I said her name, and she was like, yeah, I remember her. She was such a nice lady. I was like, yeah, she just called me and hinted at deleting my channel for the sake of a real job. And my mom's like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, she called me and congratulated me on all the success and that she was happy for me, and then started saying that I was too R-rated and that I should dumb it down a bit. And my mom goes, I don't really keep too much up with your YouTube stuff, but you're the one doing the YouTube stuff. She's a teacher. Don't take advice from her. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. Like, she knows the most about teaching, not YouTube. She's like, yeah, exactly. Have a good day. I was like, what the fuck got into my mom, dude? Giving, like, savage advice. But that's pretty much the end. I didn't hear from the teacher for the rest of the day. I'm only just imagining after I upload this video, her calling me tomorrow morning being like, you made a fucking video about me? Take that down or I'm suspending you. Just imagine that, like, not even going to school anymore and you, like, piss off a teacher outside of school and they come to your house and like, yep, you're expelled, motherfucker. But yeah, I thought it was funny. Like, a teacher called me up and gave her opinion on my channel. So I guess that's what teachers think of me. I've had another one give me a lot of compliments and be really cool. And I've had my family say cool things about it. I've had my family say negative things about it. But this is like a first, like getting called from a teacher and just saying that I'm too R-rated. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video tonight. Please leave a like if you guys did enjoy it. I just thought it was a really funny, recent story. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Leave your stories in the comments down below, especially if you ever had like a family member or someone close to you like find out about your video. I'd love to hear about it and how awkward it was, or if it wasn't awkward, I don't know. But yeah, see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.
My boss is a fucking bitch.
Now, many of his teachers has told Luna to has forced him to quit YouTube because of all this. Here's another story.
Hey, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. And I just want to thank you guys for all the support on my streams lately. Last night we got like 2,000 viewers. I was telling a bunch of stories that might come up on this channel sometime. Maybe not, I don't know. I'm doing it again tonight, so if you guys want to hear exclusive stories and just come hang out and talk to me. I'll be live for the next 2 hours as this video goes up, so come check that out, links in the description. But today's story, I'm talking about a teacher I had one time who got me in trouble in the worst way possible, okay? So this story takes place a while ago. This was when I was in high school. And if you guys have been subbed to me for a really long time, you know that I've been doing this for a while. And I started doing YouTube in school. So I was 16 when this took place, okay? And it was right before I actually kind of started to like get away from school and slowly kind of drift off and like go into YouTube full time. So around this time I was doing YouTube and doing school. And I was really kind of more focused on YouTube, and it would cause me to sometimes, like, you know, not pay attention and forget about doing homework and stuff like that. So this story starts off as a normal day, okay? I went into school, kind of drifted through my first few classes, and I had this one class where I would work one-on-one with a teacher with a few other people. Like, there was like 5 other people in the class, but mainly it was just me getting homework done because I would never do my homework. And on this day, she confronted me about it. She was like, look, Austin, like, you never have your homework done. This class is to learn stuff, and you're always coming in here and just doing your homework last minute. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, I just get distracted at home. She's like, are you doing that YouTube stuff again? And she knew about it. She was like one of the only teachers I would really talk about YouTube with because she understood it. But for some reason, she just stopped understanding. She was like, look, I know you really like this YouTube stuff and you're gaming and all that, but like you need to focus on this because that will always be there. This won't. And even though that statement was so fucking backwards, because it's the complete other way around. Like, YouTube might not always be here. School will. I could always go back to school. But, like, actually, I don't know if I could have from, like, 40. That'd be kind of weird. I don't think you can. Can you imagine, like, me, 40 years old, making a story video? I went back to high school. Anyway, I told her, I was like, look, I know you think that, but, like, it's not true. Like, YouTube might not always be there. I really got to take this chance while I have it. And she's like, that's fine, but you can't just forget about school. And I was like, I guess. And she goes, I'm going to talk to your mom about this. And I was like, don't do that. Please don't. Like, please just don't do that. And she's like, I don't know, I might have to. And I was like, just please don't. She's like, I'll think about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I went through that class, got through that, and then I went to my other classes and just kind of went through my day. Now, when I was 16, my mom was pretty, like, cool with me. Like, she wouldn't do anything, like, ground me or anything like that. She kind of thought I was too old for that. But sometimes if I was, like, really being a dick, or, like, just really not being a good kid, she would take my shit away. Like, she would, like, go in my room and, like, take my Xbox or, like, take my computer. And it would piss me off so bad because I couldn't make videos if I didn't have that stuff. And she'd rarely do that. But I came home and I walk in and my mom was just sitting at the table eating. She's like, hey, I was like, what's up? She's like, how was school? She was alright. She's like, can you sit down for a sec? I was like, okay, fine. So I sit down and I'm just wondering, like, what the fuck is she gonna say? She's like, look, one of your teachers called me today and she told me that you keep skipping classes and slacking and not doing your homework and you're too distracted by this video game YouTube thing you keep doing. I was like, Mom, first of all, the teacher was lying. I haven't skipped class in a long time. And I told the truth when I said that, because around this time I wasn't skipping class that much. So she was just trying to sabotage me. She was trying to pull any reason she could to my mom, just to try and get my stuff taken away. And I was like, Mom, this teacher's literally trying to sabotage my YouTube shit. Can you please not listen to her? She's like, it's too late. I already took your computer. I put it somewhere. Took your Xbox. You're going to need to take a break and focus on school. Like, you're so close to graduating. Just please focus on school, graduate, and you'll have all the time in the world to make your videos and play your video games. I was like, Mom, seriously, like, are you going to really force me to stop doing this YouTube stuff right when it starts to work for me? Like, don't be that mom who just holds their son back. And I said that, and I knew that would piss her off, but yeah, she got really mad at me. And she's like, I'll just take it away for longer if you keep talking to me like that. I was like, alright, sorry. And it sucked. I literally basically got grounded and forced to quit YouTube for an entire week. And I went to school the next day, and I went to that teacher, and I was like, hey, just letting you know, I hate you. Like, I genuinely despise you for what you did. Like, you just fucked so much of my life up. Like, I've been putting so much of my time into this, and you just fucked it up for me. Like, how would you like it if I went to, like, the advisor and told her that you peed on my desk and you got fired? Wouldn't that suck? Like, your passion just gets ripped away from you because someone lied about you? Like, you told the truth to my mom about the homework thing. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to homework, but I have not skipped class in a really long time, and I haven't been skipping class to make videos. Like, they don't correlate at all. Me skipping class doesn't correlate to my YouTube, so why'd you lie to my mom and say that it did? And she's like, well, I'm just trying to look out for your future. I have your best interest in mind. Like, don't be mean or disrespectful to me. Like, one day you're going to see what I'm talking about, and you'll thank me. And I was like, no, I won't. One day you're going to see what I'm talking about, and you'll see. And yeah, my teacher basically forced me to quit YouTube for a while because I barely got to upload. I didn't upload for an entire week, and then I actually snuck off with my laptop to a Starbucks for Wi-Fi. And I made a video there, and it was such a shitty situation. And I tried to upload as much as I could, but I couldn't because I didn't have my stuff. And finally, I ended up convincing my mom to give me my computer back. And she pretty much never took it again after that because I started grinding at it. And I can't lie to you, I kind of made some false promises. I was like, Mom, like I need the computer. I'm doing online work, and I need to like get the school stuff done with. But in reality, I just got my computer back and started grinding YouTube harder than ever. And sure enough, that eventually led to me dropping out of school because I could do YouTube full time, and my mom was cool with it. And my teachers even ended up calling me up and being like, hey, I'm so proud of you. Like, you're doing so well with this. Like, congrats. And it's like, thanks for not understanding this whole time, and now you understand after I had to fucking go against you and you tried to sabotage me. Obviously, I didn't say this. I just kind of said, oh, you know, thank you. Like, you were a great teacher. But, like, for real, this teacher actually tried to sabotage me. Like, she straight up wanted me to just quit YouTube. Like, what if I listened to her, guys? I wouldn't even be here right now. And I already know the haters are going to come and be like, good, you should have listened to her. And, well, fuck you. But seriously, like, what if I did listen to her and just fucking quit YouTube to do school? And, like, what if my mom never gave me my computer back? Like, I'm pretty lucky I was able to convince her to give it back. But that's pretty much the end of that story. I actually almost got, like, permanently fucked. Because my mom actually wasn't going to give it back to me. Like, she was going to keep it from me for a long-ass time. And I had to kind of, like, make some shit up and just be like, hey, Mom, need it for school. And, yeah. But that's pretty much the end of that story. Like, my teacher actually tried to sabotage my YouTube and, you know, get me to quit. But, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. Please leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed this. Leave your stories in the comments down below. You can check out my live stream if you want. I'll be live in the first 2 hours of this going up. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace. Hey, what's you guys?
So now we know that Luna was a dropout, and he's doing YouTube full time. So what does that tell you? I mean, I don't want to be one of his haters, but congrats, Luna. I hope you become successful and get a lot of subscribers, and I hope that one day you'll come on the show and tell us more stories on them. And first, give me a break. I'll be right back. One of my favorite YouTubers, two of my favorite YouTubers ever are Charles Green, aka Angry Grandpa, Bridget West, and Michael Green, also known as Kid Behind the Camera. Every time I watch two of the channels, one of my favorite types has got to be the cooking videos and the prank videos. And we're almost short of time, so tonight's Foul Break, we're going to focus on one of them, and then on the next episode, we're going to focus on the pranks that they've done. So, in tonight's Foul Break, we're looking at these cooking videos that everyone loves. I mean, think about it. You want to learn a new recipe? You gotta look at some cooking videos. I mean, you want to learn how to cook a good steak? Well, Gordon Ramsay can teach you how to cook a good steak here. But it's a long video. Before we get into the kid behind the camera thing, there's a portion of that video.
On the big night. If you follow these simple rules, it will be easy. Let the pan get nice and hot. If there's no heat in the pan, there's no colour. If there's no colour, there's no flavour. The steak is relaxed. It's at room temperature, so therefore it will cook quicker and it won't be stone cold in the centre. Okay, the pan's nice and hot.
Okay, we'll show you that some other time. Right now, let's get back to our main focus, which is kid behind the camera. It's a 4.5 minute video.
What's going on, you guys? Kid behind You want to see what a week worth of diapers look?
Hold on a second.
What's going on, you guys?
There you go.
Kid behind the camera here, and a lot of you've been asking me where the cooking videos are. How come I haven't cooked anything in the new house yet? So I'm going to today. I'm gonna cook something that I hadn't cooked in a while. Hot dogs, and I'm cooking them a little differently than you're used to seeing. Check it out. The first step of your hot dogs, I got Hoffman's German brand Franks and natural casing. Now these are the brand of hot dogs used at Hyde's of Liverpool. And I've also got their Snapper grillers, which is their conies. These are a white coney. And I'm going to cook these both in the same pan today. And here's how I'm going to do it. Now these actually smell good. Here they are. These are not like your typical Oscar Mayer. So there we go. We have the Conies and the Franks in the same pan. Now then, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll put in some onion. And the next step is boiling these hot dogs in Heineken. Now these aren't going to be boiled actually. I know I just said that. But I'm not going to be boiling them. I'm going to sit there and slow cook them in it. Boiling would consist of a fast boil. This is going to be a very slow process. I'm also going to add a little chicken stock. Now while those hot dogs cook, I'm going to start my chili. Starting off with a pound, this is probably a little over a pound, 1.26, so I'm going to go with it. A fresh ground meat. So there's a little over a pound of ground beef. To that, I'm going to be adding 1/3 a cup of water. Now while this cooks, I'm just going to smash up the meat with a potato smasher because I want this meat to break apart really well. So we're doing 2½ teaspoons of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of white sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, a dash of Worcestershire, 1/2 can of tomato sauce, about 5 ounces, and 1/2 cup ketchup. And that is everything for our chili recipe. And we're just gonna cook this together. This right here is what we end up with. It is a homemade chili sauce for hot dogs. Okay, so I'm checking these hot dogs. Oh yeah, it is time for the next step, buddy. These are now fully cooked in this. Don't need the broth anymore, so I'm gonna drain it. Be careful when we're doing this. All we're getting rid of is that broth. We're keeping all the onions and the hot dogs. Now we got that. Toss in a little bit of butter, and we're just gonna saute these up. So I boiled them in Heineken, chicken broth, and onions, and then after they're boiled, I sit here and I saute them in butter. I'm gonna give a little bit of brown to them. As you can see, I got a bun inside here, just steaming. It's gonna heat up a minute, and then I'm gonna make myself a hot dog with the homemade chili. We got some homemade fries going. But those are not homemade fries. Those are bag fries. I apologize. However, we get some homemade. Yeah, this is an ice cream scooper. I'm putting the chili on with. I like my hot dogs with just chili and mustard. Boom. Chili dog with homemade chili. Hyde's dogs. Let's try this. Quite certainly the best hot dog I have ever made. Choosing those Hoffman dogs, it has that snap. Let's try it again. Delicious.
And very delicious indeed. We don't have time for one more, but next time we're gonna do a cooking video along with some Angry Grandpa planks. That's all for this District Gaming Break Saturday going to Sunday. We'll see you again for Gaming Break Monday. But first to note, there was a story we had planned for you. We'll have that for you on Monday. For all of us here at YouTube, good night everyone, and no jaywalking, stop bullying, speak up, and concentration, not strength.